Hey everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to Tipping Point, the power of clarity, where we explore how crisis can turn into power. We discussed this important topic of how we can turn seemingly some of the worst things in our lives to become the best, right? And actually really mean it. Today's guest, we have Carolina Lasso. She's amazing. She's a friend of mine. She's a best-selling author. The book that she wrote it in Spanish. It's being translated to English. It's called The Path to Flourishing. And in this episode, she's going to talk about three things. Number one, she's going to talk about the incredible organization, Search Inside Yourself, and what she does there. She's going to talk about her tipping point, her turning point of like what caused her to sort of have a breakdown and led her to this amazing journey and ultimately writing the book. And third, and this is juicy, she is going to talk about the 7 principles to a flourishing life. They're awesome. Stay tuned. I think you'll really like it.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's great to see you, Amina, and it's great to be here with all of you.
Oh my God. Hello. So Carolina, for context, when I heard of Search Inside Yourself already, I loved it. I was like, what is this? Like, how do I join this cult? I want to be a part of it. Can you tell everybody what Search Inside Yourself is?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Search Inside Yourself is a mindfulness-based emotional intelligence and compassionate leadership training that was originally born at Google. And a group of experts, experts in neuroscience, in leadership, in professional development, in mindfulness, in personal growth, got together and developed a curriculum for Google employees. But at some point, this started to grow and grow and grow, and there was interest from other organizations as well, that the organizers decided to do a spin-off and to launch a nonprofit organization, and it's now called the Search Inside Yourself Leadership Institute. So it's a nonprofit that brings this program, Search Inside Yourself, along with many other ones, to organizations and to people around the world.
Oh my God, you had me at hello. This is like, this is amazing. Okay, so you are a leader in the marketing team there, right?
Yep, I run marketing, and we're a very small team, and we absolutely love what we do. Even when I explain it, I'm like, yes, I get to be part of this community around the world that wants to make workplaces happier and help people thrive both at work and in their personal lives.
Whoa. Cool. But you're not just doing that. You're doing lots of other big things to help the world. You wrote this book called Path to Flourishing, but the thing I think is so neat about you wrote it in Spanish. You're obviously from Colombia, not obviously, but it's amazing that you're from Colombia. But you led with publishing it in Spanish, and now you're translating it to English. What was that process like?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I grew up in Bogota, Colombia, moved to the US when I was 17. So my roots are really important to me. And obviously my first language is Spanish. And I can share about my journey a little bit later, but at some point, and especially when the pandemic started and I had extra time at home, right? I asked myself, how do I want to use this time? What is my legacy from this 2020, 2021 pandemic world? And the answer was very clear. It was to share my own personal story as a Latina in the United States, as someone who's gone through lots of ups and downs in her life. And I just want to share my experience and the lessons that I had learned in my journey. And yeah, the calling was to write it in Spanish first, because of course, there are a lot of personal development and growth books in Spanish, but many of them are translated. And I wanted to start in Spanish and to really convey the messages that I wanted to convey in that language first. And of course, now I'm translating it, and the book in English will be released soon. But yeah, it was quite meaningful for me. And
Yeah.
also, there is this calling to kind of give back to my Latin American, my Spanish speaking community, and to connect through the book with them.
God, that makes total sense. And I like you doing that is amazing, right? Because
Oh,
it's
thank you.
honoring your lineage, your culture. Um, well, tell us a bit about the book. And actually, you wrote the book sort of after you had your own personal turning point or tipping point, right? Like, can you walk us through that journey that you had to lead you to the book? I think that'll be really, really amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it's been a journey. So, yeah, as I mentioned, I moved to the US when I was a teenager, and there was a part of me that wanted to prove that I could make it here. And, I was the kind of person who would work really hard. And so I worked really hard in school so I could get a scholarship in order to be able to go to college. So, 4.0 GPA, and then valedictorian and commencement speaker in college. And then after that, I decided to go get my MBA at New York University. And so there was that, and started working in the financial services sector in New York City. And then after that, found a job at Google in New York. And I kept just like going and going and doing a lot and trying to accomplish and kind of check the list of things that I've been told that I needed to follow, right? Up until a point when I kind of stopped myself, and I just thought, what am I doing? And what am I doing here? And
Yeah.
what's the meaning of life, right? Like this ladder, ladder, ladder. And all of a sudden, like, where am I supposed to go next? And what does this all mean? And I hit a very difficult moment, a tipping point for sure, when I started experiencing panic attacks, and I went through a period of depression and darkness and lots of questions, um, both at work and in my personal life. And in that moment, I said, well, this kind of climbing the ladder needs to stop for a little bit. I need a pause. I need time to digest what's happening, to think about my life, to connect with myself, to be, right? I was in the doing for a really long time. And so I just needed to be for a little bit. So I decided to go on a 6-month journey, on a trip. A lot of my friends make fun of me because it's very similar to the Eat, Pray, Love book. I went to Italy to try to connect with myself through art,
Yeah.
then to India, and I lived in an ashram for about a month. So, connecting with my own spirituality,
Mm.
having moments of silence, and even treating some of my wounds, if you will, with non-traditional medicine.
Mhm.
Um, and then after that, I spent some time with my family in Colombia. Eventually, decided to go to the Amazon to connect with my ancestors and the wisdom that comes from the indigenous communities in Latin America. And throughout all of this time, I was also reading all sorts of books and taking courses and watching videos and really trying to find answers. I was just on this quest to find answers to my deep questions. And I think I did. And I have to say that even when I was a teenager, ever since I was very young, I decided to try to find some of this knowledge. So after that journey, I decided that I wanted to do more to bring more happiness to the workplaces. Um, just thinking about the idea that so many people wake up every day or have to wake up on Mondays and absolutely dread going to work, or feel oppressed at work, or even just that meh, I don't want to go to work. That's not okay, right? I believe we were born to thrive. We were born to flourish. We were born to have easeful, serene, exciting lives. And absolutely, the peaks and the valleys are part of life, right? So it's not just being joyous all day long, but really in the middle of difficult situations, being okay with that. And to me, that's the meaning of flourishing. It's being able to cultivate the practices that allow you to have an easeful, fulfilling, and purposeful life. So when I got back from my trip, I decided to quit my role at Google and to join the Search Inside Yourself Leadership Institute. I'm also a certified teacher within the institute. And that's what brought me there. And it really brought me into the community that looks at these hard questions and how to help more people around the world to flourish, to thrive. So at the same time that I'm working there, I decided to launch a platform. It's called Plenitud.net. And the word plenitude is what I'm translating as flourishing. And in this platform, I share articles and guided meditations and just tools and resources that have helped me. And I share them in Spanish. And that was the seed to then begin writing the book.
Wow, that's amazing. So you had sort of a crisis point where you were on track to be sort of the typical, productive Ivy League Google person. And you sort of, when we've talked, you said, you've had a moment where you were just like, what is this all for? Almost like a breakdown, right? And so that was the tipping point for you. And then from there, you went on this amazing journey and found yourself in a deeper way. I guess, how did you get that clarity to embark on that journey? And what advice would you give people?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I think I got to the point when I couldn't do it. I couldn't not do it. Sorry. I couldn't help but go on that journey. There was a very loud message that it was like a magnet, right? Like pulling me in and really inviting me to go on that journey to search inside myself. And I also acknowledged that I was in a position of privilege to have had the chance to step out and kind of leave my world for 6 months and travel. And I know that not everybody probably has that opportunity, so I'm always very thankful for that. But I think what matters is not where you are, but truly allocating the time to go within, to connect, to do introspection, to develop that clarity. And I think that clarity comes from moments of silence, of moments of, I call it pause, which is one of the principles of a flourishing life, and pausing and connecting with your inner wisdom and paying attention to it and then taking action. And I think that's what I did. It was a very loud calling that I had to follow. And in the middle of that moment, it was rough and it was hard and I didn't know what to do and nothing was clear. It was all like muddy and cloudy. But I now understand that that was a message from life to kind of shake things a little bit for me and to be able to then make decisions that would align my life with my higher purpose.
Yeah. Wow. What are the other sort of principles from the book? Obviously, you just named one, but do you want to share with us?
Sure. So it's 7 principles. The first one is pausing, taking a pause, allocating time for you to, yeah, relax, be with yourself, rest, do self-care. The second one is presence, being in the present moment. The importance of that has been highlighted in many different books. And we know that we are at our best when we are in the here and now. The third one is compassion. So, compassion to ourselves and compassion to others. And what does that look like? Then we have perspective, and that is really understanding that what you focus on grows and that the filter that we have in our lives is what we end up remembering. And that what we see is not just the events that happen in our lives, but how we see them. Then we have curiosity as a key principle. Um, you may know that the definition of mindfulness is to be aware in the present moment with kindness and with curiosity. So that's the type of curiosity that I'm talking about. It's really seeing the world with new eyes, that beginner's mind, that innocence that allows you to explore life, yourself, and others with greater curiosity, with a beginner's mind.
Wow.
Then we have the principle of purpose. It's one of my favorite ones. We talk about how to align yourself with your purpose. And first of all, how to find your purpose in life. What does that mean? Is that even a thing, right? And then how to take action to make sure that you can leave your legacy in the world, that your days are filled with excitement and purpose and sense of meaning. And then the last one is allowing or accepting. Just making sure that we understand that there are so many things that happen in our lives that we cannot control, and drawing from some of the principles from Stoicism, how to accept what we cannot control, but then also how to flow with life and take action with what we can control. So it's also related to surrendering to a higher plan and to the flow of life.
Oh, wow. I love all that. Seven principles to living a flourishing, happy, mindful life.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and you're kind of like oozing from it, right? Like this is real for you. You're actually living these principles, and knowing you, I know that's true. Well, cool. Well, how do we find your book that's going to be translated in English? And isn't your book that's translated in Spanish, isn't that an Amazon bestseller?
Yeah, I was so excited. I launched it in March 2021 and it became a bestseller in many different categories, including self-help in Spanish, memoirs, and a few others, which I'm just so thankful for, and especially thankful to all the people who helped me make that a reality. So yes, you can connect with me via Instagram at Carolina Lasso and or via LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. Cool. And then obviously we can find your books on Amazon. It's there.
Absolutely.
It's a bestseller. Amazing. Oh
Thank
my
you.
God. Thank you so much for joining. I certainly learned a lot from chatting with you. I hope others have as well. Have a great Friday. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.